Good morning, and thank you for choosing Trussell Driving School. My name is John Trussell, and obviously, as you can see, I'm not there this morning in person to present this to you. So hopefully I can cover this in a video in my absence. But just want to make this short presentation to all parents just to make sure you understand the ins and outs of the course and what the expectations are of not only us, Trussell Driving School, but also the expectations of you as a parent. First of all, as I mentioned here, I am the owner and operator of Trussell Driving School and have been working with high school students most of my adult life. Was a former educator and coach, and so I've been doing this quite some time and trained, I guess, probably thousands of new teen drivers. In addition, Miss Cynthia Mendenhall, who will be teaching the course this morning, is also a former public school educator and have worked with teenagers, and is also certified driving instructor and classroom teacher, and has been for a little better than 8 years. In addition, Mr. Jeff Carl, who is not there this morning, is one of the other behind the wheel instructors here in Horry County, and has a wealth of experience, and probably better known as Santa Claus. He actually does look exactly like Santa Claus. So when he drives up in your driveway to pick up your child or drop them off, then Santa Claus is definitely coming to town, so to speak. My wife, Miss Cindy Trussell, who is not there as well, who you probably dealt with all administrative stuff via email. And then also Ross Isom, who you probably checked in with there this morning, also handles much of the administrative process for our school. Just so you know, our school is approved to provide pretty much every aspect of obtaining a new driver's license. All the students here, I'm very well aware, already have a permit, although we are certified to administer that test. But your child, obviously went to the DMV and they've got their beginner's permit. What's required of them at this point is that they attend the classroom instruction, which they'll be doing today, and then the behind the wheel instruction, which we'll do in 3 separate 2-hour sessions. And then upon completion of the entire course, we'll administer the road test on behalf of the Department of Motor Vehicles. So we are one of the schools that selected and are certified to administer that test on their behalf, which basically means your child will test with us for their license as opposed to the Department of Motor Vehicles. This, I know this probably may be difficult to see. Just want to go through the basically, I guess, the circles here. As I mentioned, your child already has their beginner's permit. The next step, once they've had that permit for 180 days, on the 181st day, they are eligible for their conditional license, better known as their daytime license. And then upon having their daytime license, 1 year later, they receive their full driver's license. So basically that means if your child basically got their permit at right around their 15th birthday, at 15 and a half, they can legally drive by themselves during daylight hours. And then 1 year later, at approximately 16 and a half, they will have their regular driver's license, just like all the adults here. Now, I do want to mention step 3 here, what's called a special restricted license. If your child works or is involved in after-school activities that require them to be there after dark, you can get a special restricted license once you reach 16 years of age. Basically, that means that they are given permission by not only you, but typically their employer or school sponsor would have to put something in writing to take to the DMV, and you would give your child permission to basically drive from point A to point B. The example, if they worked at Chick-fil-A and you lived in Little River, they could go from Little River to Chick-fil-A and Chick-fil-A to home if they are working after dark. One of the laws with having a daytime license that many parents as well as newly licensed drivers are unaware of is that you cannot transport more than 2 passengers under the age of 21 unless you're accompanied by a licensed adult who is at least 21 years of age. The exception to that is that if you are transporting family members or if you are going to and from school. Personally, I disagree with this one because most high school students spend much of their time going to and from school, but that is the law. Parents, obviously you are the law, and you can decide on who and how many and whether or not your child has any passengers. But from the South Carolina standpoint, the license for your daytime license, this is the rule that they must abide by. But again, your rule can be much more stringent should you see fit. At the completion of the course, we'll issue a form called a PDLA. This form is 3 parts and is required by the Department of Motor Vehicles. And you would actually turn this into them along with all the other paperwork that we give you. One part of that is your certification of school attendance. So typically your child is going to take this to their attendance clerk. The attendance clerk will fill it out. Basically it says that they're currently enrolled and not suspended or expelled. And then the other 2 parts of that, part 2 is the portion that we signed that says they completed the driver education course. And then part 3, parents, which is the responsibility that you certify that you've driven a minimum of 40 hours with your child, meaning your child driving, you accompanying them, and that of those 40 hours, 10 of those should be at dark. From a personal standpoint, I would recommend you do even more than that with your newly licensed driver, or excuse me, with your permit holder. Now, the way the behind the wheel training works, once your child completes the classroom portion today, you should have already received their schedule of dates and times that they're scheduled to drive. Those sessions, as I mentioned, are 2 hours in length. And what will happen is students will have their behind the wheel schedule, obviously today, and the instructor will confirm the day before via text or phone call. So your child will get a text or a phone call from their instructor the day prior to their scheduled 2-hour session. Students, it's important that you respond and confirm that you're on the same page. Your instructor says, hey, I'll pick you up at North Myrtle Beach High School at 3:20. Just confirm and let them know that you're on the same page. So please text them back if they text you. Should parents, you have something comes up and you need to cancel or reschedule a session, please provide a 24-hour notice if at all possible. I can typically work with just about anything given a notice. If you do need to reschedule, call my number only, which is 843-997-9480. The instructors will basically do not do any of the scheduling, so just make sure you call me and I'll adjust their calendars. This doesn't happen often, and I prefer that it does not happen, but please, if one of my instructors has confirmed with your child, the day before, and they, said, hey, yeah, I'm aware you're picking me up at such time, and then my instructors show up and they're not there, they decided to do something else. Unfortunately, there is a $25 non-cancellation fee. Haven't had to do this quite some time, and so please just communicate with us and we can typically work most everything out. I know many of the students here already have had their permit for 180 days. As I mentioned earlier, on the 181st day from the issue date of the beginner permit, they are eligible for their test. On that schedule you received, it already has the test scheduled, and the testing site address is also on that half sheet of paper, and which is just one traffic light up behind the KFC. That's where our parallel parking standards are located. Parents, although the test is scheduled already, it is not set in stone. So if, upon the completion of their required driving hours with you as well as us, if you don't think they're ready, or we don't think they're ready, or even if the student feels like they're not ready to test, we can certainly adjust that test date and time. It's not uncommon for me to have parents who, call and just said, hey, I'd like my child to get some more, experience with me, or whether they decide to, hire us to do some additional training, whichever is, that is not etched in stone. And we certainly don't want to rush them into anything. When they do test, obviously, let me back up. Today you have dropped them off here, and you're going to pick them up here at approximately 4 o'clock today. Their driving sessions, we typically pick them up and drop them off. If it's during the week, it's typically pick them up from school, drop them off at home. If it's weekend, pick them up from home, drop them off at home. With that said, we will not drop your child off anywhere other than the address that you provided us, unless you have called me to let me know it's okay for us to drop them off at some other place. So, if you needed them dropped off at a friend's house or relative's house, just give me a 24-hour notice and let me know so I can relay that to the instructor. Then at the conclusion of the course, when they do actually take their test, you would pick them up from the test site that day. That way I'll be able to discuss the results with you of the road test. And again, that address is here, and it's also on the schedule you received this morning. I want to show this short video just to let you know that, well, first of all, parents, that might step on your toes here just a little bit, but ultimately you are the major educator in this. Your child is going to spend much more time with you and have observed you driving for quite some time. And so I'm just going to let this video explain the fact that they have been watching. And if you really think that we're going to break habits that they've watched you do, then it's very difficult sometimes for us to do. So let me just play the video, and I think you'll get a gist of exactly what I'm saying here.
Sometimes Mom, she tries to lean back with her knee on the wheel while texting like that.
My mom talks on the phone like this. Blah, 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 blah. Well, Daddy sometimes holds the phone like this and drives at the same time. Sometimes my mom picks up the phone and taps like this. And also talks, and I don't like when he does that, so I keep on telling him both onions on the wheel.
I've never thought about it before, and I know I need to change it.
I need to change the way I drive.
I just never thought my kid was paying that much attention to my drive.
And technical difficulties here, but I'm not starting the video over, so bear with me one sec. All right. Okay. The next thing, as I've come to a close here, there are a tremendous number of apps that are available to help monitor your child during the most important, formative years of driving, and that very first year being the most critical. This is just one called True Motion. It's available for both iPhone and Android. Does a lot of different things. I'm not going to go over all the points of what it does. And I know there's a tremendous number of apps available, but please take time, and I'll also be emailing you as well some links to some other apps that you might find that work for you and your child. At this point, I'm going to stop and I'm going to turn it over to Ms.